Hey everyone, good evening and happy Thursday. I'm Darrell Winninger, Chief Meteorologist at Central Oregon Daily News, and we are about to do a deep dive into your most reliable forecast. Look at what's been happening, what's on the way, and when we get this next break between systems, because a cold front is actually rolling through the high desert today and this evening. So when we look outside, we see all the cloud cover. There are some pockets where there have been a little bit of clearing at times, but for the most part, we have been dry, just some sprinkles showing up on radar. And when we look at satellite and radar, what we see is some showers in and around Central Oregon, but not a lot of that is actually reaching ground. And what we're looking at, not just radar, but the satellite imagery is a blend of infrared and visible. We're going to be looking at a couple more here through the next couple graphics, so I just wanted to explain that. But we have two different systems. A cold front is pushing through Washington, and then there's another low. I'm calling this one the California low. This is an atmospheric river, and it is bringing a whole lot of rain to California, just not much of it actually getting into our Tri-County area, but it is pushing through southern Oregon where we're seeing even more precipitation. Now, some scattered showers are expected this evening and tonight, and when we look at our infrared satellite imagery, there's an enhancement really pulling out those taller clouds. You'll see the brighter colors there, but we do see a strong signature of a low pressure system out over the Pacific Ocean. It does look like some dry air is wrapping into that center of circulation, but we're going to look at water vapor here in a minute, and that'll really help paint that picture. There's a wave of moisture that's rolling in to Central Oregon that will bring some showers through the rest of this evening. But when we look at the bigger picture, what we're noticing is over the Pacific Ocean, there is a broad and strong ridge of high pressure that will be impacting us by the time we get to Friday and Saturday. But we'll talk about that here in the next couple of minutes. Over water vapor and pressure, we still have some of those isobars that are tightly stacked over the high desert. And we call this a steep gradient. And that just means it's gusty and it's been verifying, but it's starting to break up. So winds will be tapering off here soon. And as I was thinking with that last graphic, we do have some dry air wrapped up into this low pressure, and that's pretty much going to be fizzling out here through the next couple of days, but still impacting us, not just on the high desert with limited impacts, but definitely in California. Meanwhile, our forecast model shows some in and out clouds are expected tonight with scattered showers. By tomorrow, we are looking at clearing through the day, but some in and out clouds are still expected, especially later on Friday. But Saturday, in and out clouds continue. This is that break between systems that I was bragging about. It doesn't look like it's going to be too pleasant, but we are looking at 50s and 60s across the high desert, a lighter breeze through the Tri-County area, and no precipitation in sight. Our next chance of rain holds off until Sunday, but when it comes to these gusts, look at them. We're between 15 and 33 mile per hour gusts across the high desert, mostly coming out of the southwest. Actual wind speeds not nearly as strong, about 10 to 20 miles per hour for many. Some of us just 2 to 12 miles per hour throughout Jefferson County getting into Sisters. Now, winds have been gusty across Central Oregon through most of the day, but they're starting to taper off. Remember when we were looking at the isobars on a couple of those maps, they showed that the tightly stacked gradient was starting to weaken a little bit, and that just means that we're looking at these tapering winds tonight coming back down to a light breeze and staying a light breeze through Friday and Saturday. Now, it could be breezy at times. Early Friday, we still have a chance to catch a couple sprinkles before clouds really begin to thin out, and then we're in that break between systems. Now, when it comes to relative humidity, not too bad at all, not too dry. We'll call that moderate to high values. Remember, all of those are measured in percentages. And look at this. High temperatures in the last 24 hours. We topped out in the 60s with some 50s on the map. And look at Prineville, 70 degrees as a high temperature. That is well above average and actually flirting with some record highs. The average high temperature in Bend is 50. In Redmond, it's 52. So yeah, it's unseasonably mild across the high desert. Now, temperatures right now are sitting in the 60s and 50s through our Tri-County area, still representing a 1 to 9 degree warm-up across the Tri-County area with a few outliers. Now, tonight we're falling back into the 40s and 30s through our Tri-County area. By tomorrow, highs in the 50s, so a modest dip in temperatures, still above average for this time of the year. Now, this forecast model does shows pretty much what we're looking at when it comes to temperatures. Tomorrow, we get that dip in temperatures on the backside of that cold front that's rolling through Washington, and a light breeze is expected, 50s and a few 60s. By Saturday, still dry, 50s and 60s. So seeing a bump in temperatures, one of the more pleasant days as we go through this weekend. But by Sunday, we're tracking our next cold front. As it rolls through, we're going to get wet. We're expecting falling snow levels with that one as well. But between now and Sunday at 11 p.m., mostly just getting wet, and a lot of that happens, or some of that happens here through this evening. So roller coaster temperatures are on the way, and the big trigger that's really going to shift our weather pattern going from 50s and 60s to 40s is a system that rolls through Sunday and Monday. So let's look at a different forecast model. This is one I typically use on air, except it's extended out quite a bit through the next 6 days. But let's go ahead and just look at what's happening. We have that California low, that is the atmospheric river, already starting to fizzle out, and the cold front that's over the Pacific Northwest. Tonight, some showers are expected. They're going to be scattered. Everybody isn't going to get wet. Winds are going to start to taper off. We begin to see some clearing. Friday and Saturday, a mixture of sunshine and cloud cover, still dry. Sunday, showers start to roll in. Snow levels drop. We're looking at some snow even in our lower elevations, but definitely in the mountains by Monday. And then by Tuesday, a break between systems. By Wednesday, another system rolls in. But to get to Wednesday's system, we're going to have to look at a longer range forecast model. This is the GFS. Not as high of resolution, but still pretty good. And so it shows some of those scattered showers here through this evening. Let's back up, because that was not starting with this evening. That is starting with Sunday. That's that cold front that's rolling through, and it does show rain becoming snow even in our lower elevations by Tuesday. Still partly cloudy to becoming mostly clear by the time we're getting closer to sunset, and then by Wednesday, the potential for another system is going to be there. But at this point, it doesn't look too strong, but there's going to be a chance for more precipitation. So between now and 7 a.m. Friday, we're getting wet tonight. Not everybody, though, just scattered showers. And it stays that way through Sunday, but by Monday and Tuesday, we're actually looking at more precipitation, even 2 to 4 inches of snow in our higher elevations, including the passes, and maybe some light totals in our lower elevations. At this point, not even enough to get excited about to bust out the snow shovel or even the snowblower. And so for tonight, 30s with some 40s on the map. Scattered showers as well. By Friday, we're looking at 50s with a few 60s on the map. There's our dip in temperatures. Saturday, those temperatures start to rebound with more in and out clouds. Sunday brings our next system. We cool down, we get wet, we have rain becoming snow, and then it gets chilly. Starting with the beginning of next week, going through most of next week, highs are going to be in 40s, lows in the 20s. More precipitation is on the way, and that's when we could actually get some snow showers on Monday night, and then again on Wednesday and Thursday. That is the latest in weather. Here's a quick look at your weather headlines for this Thursday, November the 13th. Our mild window is pretty much closing. Showers are expected. Winds are going to get gusty. Now, we still have a pretty decent weekend ahead, but it's not going to be until we get to Sunday and Monday that next stronger system rolls through. And so for Friday and Saturday, a mixture of sunshine and cloud cover, 50s, some 60s. Not too bad, just not as mild as it was today. Here's a quick look at that satellite and radar. Not too wet just yet. And there is a series of wind advisories in effect for Klamath and Lake counties until 10 p.m. this evening. That is it. That's the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. Well, the latest in headlines and your most reliable forecast. See you then.